types of language which reveal there are distortions going on. The first one is, we tend to call this mind reading. That's where we claim to know what's going on inside somebody's head. He's upset with me. How? That's definitely a distortion. Let's take a look at distortions first. We're going to do distortions, then generalizations, then deletions. It's going to be a nice flow to it. So distortions, mind reading is a classic distortion. He is upset with me. As distorting what's going on. And a great way to uncover what's going on is just simply ask the question, how do you know he is upset with you? How do you know he's upset with you? Now, with each of these, the answers that the person gives, that you give or that the other person gives, may have other distortions, generalizations, or deletions within them. And that's absolutely fine. It means we've got one step closer to uncovering what's going on, and we can just go through more and more questions until we find out what's really going on behind. A thing called lost performatives. This is value judgments where the person doing the judging is left out. What do I mean by that? Not speaking up is bad. Not speaking up is bad. How can we explore what's going on? Okay. Who says it's bad? According to whom? How do you know it's bad? This uncovers what's going on behind this, uncovers that which has been distorted by the language. Cause and effect. We've spoken at length about cause and effect in a previous episode. We will no doubt speak about it at length again in future episodes. But cause and effect is a distortion. She makes me mad. That's where we're putting cause outside of ourselves. Because as we've explored and we'll explore again, nobody can make us feel anything. Nobody can make us feel anything. She makes me mad. That's a cause and effect distortion. A great response to that is, how specifically does she make you mad? Or if you really want to get really into the nitty gritty, and sometimes you've got to have a great rapport with the person before you ask these things. How does what she is doing cause you to choose to feel bad? Oh, I wouldn't use that one unless you have a lot of rapport with them. But it is a very powerful question. We have complex equivalences where we have two different experiences, and we kind of equate the two together. He comes home late, he's irresponsible. Where we're equating him being irresponsible with him coming home late. Yeah? I'm sort of saying that him coming home late means he's irresponsible. So, a great way, if we find ourselves saying that, or if we find others saying that, a great way to counter or to explore what's actually going on. How does him coming home late mean that he's irresponsible? So there we're directly questioning the correlation. Or we could kind of broaden it a bit. Has anyone ever been late and yet still been responsible? So we're kind of questioning whether that's an automatic link in there. We got presuppositions. Now, presuppositions. This is something we could spend a whole episode just talking about presuppositions. Presuppositions are statements that you make which suppose that for the sentence to work, it presupposes something else exists, or and so on. But if my wife knew how lonely I got, she wouldn't do that. Now, there are three presuppositions in there. There's the presupposition that I'm lonely. So for that sentence to be true, I have to be lonely. The sentence presupposes that my wife acts in some way, and it presupposes that my wife doesn't know that I get lonely. If my wife knew how lonely I got, she wouldn't do that. Now, how you can explore what's going on behind that, well, that kind of depends on how deep you want to go. But you could ask, how do you choose to feel lonely? That's counteracting the I'm lonely presupposition. The presupposition that my wife is acting in some way. Okay, so how is she acting? How is she acting? What is she doing? What is it that she's doing? Or, and this can be a tough one, the presupposition that my wife doesn't know that I get lonely. How do you know she doesn't know? Now that can lead down all sorts of dark paths, but again, it's a great way to figure out what's going on, what's the meaning behind the meaning of the phrase. So those are ways to start exploring what's going on with distortions. Generalizations. We'll take a quick look at generalizations. We've got things, we discussed them, universal quantifiers. Every, all, always, none, no one, never, everyone. These sorts of things. General quantifiers. And the way to counteract them is to question it. I always get it wrong. Always? You always get it wrong? There's never been a time when you got it right? Nope, I always get it wrong. Has there never been a time you got it right? Nope, never. Is that sentence right? Yes. So you got that sentence right. So there is a time you got it right. No! We don't always get things wrong. We may feel we do, but there will be times we've got things right. But we've generalized that we always get things wrong, therefore it's not worth us attempting to do something. That's where the danger sets in. So I always get it wrong. Always? She never does things for me. Never? She's never done anything for you? Ever? Really? We've got things called modal operators of necessity. Should, shouldn't, must, must not, have to, need to. You have to listen. You have to get this finished before you go home. Remember we gave that example earlier on in the episode? I have to get this finished before I can go home. Questions we can ask about that. What would happen if you didn't finish it and went home? What would happen if you went home before you finished it? You have to listen. What would happen if you didn't listen? You have to do this. Or, that's a great question. Great one-word question to ask. I have to do this. Okay. Or, what would happen if you didn't? It's opening up the possibilities that this generalization isn't always true. And then we've got modal operators of possibility or impossibility. I can, can't, will, won't, may not, possible, impossible. I can't succeed. And that is a generalization because there are times when you can succeed. All of us can succeed. But a generalization, impossibility, I can't succeed. Great question. What prevents you? What prevents you from succeeding? Because now we're starting to uncover what's enabled them to come up with that generalization. We're starting to explore what's behind it. So if you find yourself saying, I can't do that, okay, well, what's stopping you from doing that? Because when you say you can't do it, bam, that's it. Can't do it. But when you start questioning the assumptions behind it, the generalization, what prevents me from doing it? Well, I don't have the skills. Okay. Well, is there any way you could get the skills? Is there someone else who has the skills who could help you? Are there other skills you could use to do it? All these start to open up possibilities, which are not there if we have generalizations. And the final category is deletions. We got nominalizations, which we spoke about. It's not easy to say. Nominalizations, which are basically verbs that have been turned into nouns. Our relationship doesn't work. Okay? What specifically isn't working about the way you're relating? Or how would you like to relate? So we're unfreezing it. We're turning it from a noun back into a verb. Because once it's a verb, once we're talking about relating, how would you like to relate? What specifically isn't working about the way we're relating? You're now opening up the possibilities that the way in which we're relating can change. It's making sense? I do hope so. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. We've got unspecified words. Unspecified words. Doing so well. Deletions are unspecified verbs, so we delete the verb. I just gave up. Yeah? How specifically did you give up? On what specifically did you give up? Start digging, getting deeper and deeper to find out what's going on behind it. I just gave up. On what? What did you give up on? Deletions. And final class of deletions, we got simple deletions. I am bored. I am bored. Okay? What are you bored with? Who are you bored with? Let's at least start to figure that out first before we can move forward. We've got what's called a lack of referential index, I believe. It's where we don't specify a person or a thing. They don't understand me. They just don't understand me. Who specifically doesn't understand you? Once we got the who, we can then start to explore in more depth. How do you know they don't understand you? What specifically do they not understand? Then once we've got down into that, we can then start to explore ways to resolve it. And the final deletion is comparative deletions. Good, better, best, worse, more, less. I want a better wife. All right. Better than whom? Better than what? Compared with whom? I want a better wife than the one I have. I want a better wife than my friend has. How specifically do you mean better? Better than what? Better at what? Better in what way? Well, that's pretty much out of time now. As is always with these things, there is so much more we could talk about. We've kind of hit our time on this. I hope you found this useful. It's been a very brief overview of deletions, distortions, and generalizations. There is a lot more we can talk about on these. I go into a lot more detail when I'm teaching NLP as part of their Freedom Technology trainings. Hit me up if you want to find out more about that. But I'd love to know what you thought about this. Wherever you're catching the show, whether it's on Doggy Stone Radio, whether it's on Coach on Fire, whether you're catching us on iTunes or wherever you're catching us, drop me a line, rate the show, give us a rating, let us know what you think. Drop me a note on there, let me know what you think, or drop a note. Go to the confidencealchemist.com/radio show. Go to the page for this episode. Pop some comments in there. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know what else you'd like me to cover in future ones. I've got quite a few things to offer, but I always want to make sure I'm tailoring it to what you specifically need. So that's it. Don't forget to share this episode. Share it with anyone and everyone you think will find it useful. Share it whether you're sharing the iTunes link, the Stitcher link, iHeartRadio link, the Doggy Stone Radio link, sharing the confidencealchemist.com/radio show link, whatever link it is you're sharing. Please share it far and wide. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you again in the very next episode. Until then, take care, look after yourself, and remember that change is always possible. And when you change your mind, you change your life. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Confidence Alchemist Radio Show with your host, the Confidence Alchemist himself, Keith Blakemore-Noble. To find out more, visit theconfidencealchemist.com.